Here's Brody Brazil.
When I tell you here that this is my first experience with golf, I actually need to back up about 8+ years ago. I was starting to get into the sport right before my son was born. And yeah, all the free time and chance and opportunity to go to the range and take some lessons and try and get some rounds in, that all obviously went away. So I did kind of have a false start at golf, but now here at 44 years old, this is truly my first experience with golf. And what I wanted to do in this video was kind of share some first impressions, kind of make a time capsule video. So hopefully in a year or 2 or 3 down the road, I can look at this and remember when I was just a beginner. I suppose this video could be like 10 truths of a golf beginner, 10 confessions of a golf beginner, because this is where I'm at right now. And maybe some of you have been in these shoes before, or you understand this, or maybe you want to get into golf and you want me to kind of be the test dummy for that. Number one, I'm 20 years behind most of my friends. Yeah, they were doing this when they were 20 and 24. Now I'm here at 44, and I have to remember sometimes that they're good, they're seasoned, they're experienced. They can pull a club out of a bag and hit it straight and far, no problem, every single time because they've been doing it for decades. There's some things I've been doing for decades, like, making videos, and I still screw this up, but generally I'm pretty good at it. And so I have to remember that they are way ahead of me. Some of my friends have had their swing and their game ingrained for more than 20 years now. So it's natural. They've had tons of experience. It's almost like an instinct for them now. I wish I would have gotten into this sooner. And I was encouraged by my dad, my parents over time. I never really grasped it. For whatever reason, it just never latched on for me. And it's kind of like coffee. Coffee is another thing that I love. Like, I'll have a couple cups every morning, and it's okay. I can do without it some mornings, not every morning. But I didn't like coffee until I was 30-something, maybe 35. And then all of a sudden, start drinking a bunch of it. And so maybe it's just like you get to a certain age and you gravitate towards certain things. I wish I would have gotten into coffee sooner, but I didn't. But I love it now, and I suppose the same can be said about golf. There's a lot of advice and input overload at times. Now, I don't mean people are trying to hurt your game. They're trying to help your game. They're trying to offer you advice. Or like YouTube videos, there are a million of them out there to try and diagnose and fix everything: your swing, your grip, your takeaway, your finish, how to organize your bag of clubs. But it's almost like me trying to soak all this in and be a sponge. It's like trying to plug 15 different leaks on a boat, because just when I worry about my hips one day, then my grip is off or my stance is off. There's so many different things and so many different clubs to try and get familiar with. It's kind of like my experience as a flight instructor, as I'm still qualified as, when I was teaching people how to land a plane. In your golf swing, there are so many things that your mind needs to control, but also not focus too much on one. Not like overcomplicate things. You really can't obsess over any one thing. Otherwise, it's all going to crumble. It's kind of like that landing a plane too. You can't just worry about airspeed. You also have to worry about your pitch attitude and height above the ground and all that. There's so many things going at once, but it's kind of like that. And once you can kind of take yourself out of the small things and just look at the bigger picture, you can land a plane on a routine basis, like I can without any issues. Same thing with a good golf swing. Everything is so much harder when it's new. I remember when I was learning how to fly a plane, it was very hard. By the time I was teaching, it came a lot easier, obviously. And yeah, when I talk about advice and input, a lot of it comes from friends and family members and people who care. That's great. But there's also like a YouTube video that's now popping up every time I log in with advice on every topic. And I'm like, just leave me alone for a while. Let me feel comfortable with this before I try tweaking this or that. It is easy to get fatigued both physically and mentally. And even yesterday, I was out at the range. I think I hit 70 balls. And by the end of it, like my brain was mushy. My body wasn't that tired. It was hot and I was sweating a little bit, but my brain was so tired and fatigued. It I needed to sit down, not for my body, but for my brain. Every swing, the stance, the setup, the result of it, trying to analyze things. It's almost like doing a homework assignment while my body was physically working to hit the golf ball. And sometimes I have played a few rounds before, and eventually I'll feel comfortable to play a lot more. At this point, I just want to get the swing down. I want to give myself a chance to play well and get out on the course by practicing on the range. I've been out there before and played 18 where I felt great on the front nine, and it was like, all right, I can do this. And then by the 13th hole, it's like, where are we? What day is it? Like it's just my brain gets mentally fatigued. And so I think it's important during training and practice sessions, and this goes to like when I was flying too. When you are mentally done and spent on something, you got to know when to quit. You got to help yourself out. That being said, what we're all after here is repetition, repetition, and more repetition. And my plan, which I've kind of held up to now, I really started like the first day or two of May. So we're a couple weeks into this by now. By the time you're watching this video, my plan was to do about 100 swings per day and eventually get to the lessons, but do 100 swings per day to kind of build a base. And fortunately, I've got a device called a Rapsodo, which maybe you know what that is, maybe you don't. I'll tell you and I'll explain that in just a second. It helps me watch my swings back, analyze if I'm hitting into a net, how far they would have went, if they were straight, launch angle, all that stuff. And so 100 swings per day that were analyzed and reviewed to help build that base. Also, repetition of clubs, right? Like hitting the driver, way different than hitting the pitching wedge or even a 5-iron. Like there are so many different clubs and swings and everything is different. So it's not like, oh, I've mastered the one club. Great. Guess what? You got a whole rest of your bag that you also have to figure out. And I realize they're not night and day difference, but there is a little bit of difference across the club spectrum. Over time, what I've found is that with repetition, the shanks go away and the distance is growing and my club head speed and the impact speed, it's all starting to come along with repetition. I've also realized that I just need to work on one thing at a time. Trying to correct or think about 3 to 5 things all at once. Like I was saying before, landing a plane, you cannot fixate. That's the word I was looking for before. You can't fixate on one thing or another. You have to generally be aware of all of it. Otherwise, it's going to screw you up. And some days, it's just, for me, I'll do best when I say, today I want to work on my hips, right? I need to keep everything else going, like front arm straight, front leg down, maybe a little bit of bend in it, kind of keep the body slanted a little bit. So I'm kind of hitting up like if it's the driver. But some days it's just locking in on one problem area and solving it. All right, I really need to twist my hips more in the takeaway and in the backswing. And then hopefully that'll give me more club speed and help me hit straighter. But if I'm trying to focus on 3 things, that's where I run into problems. The Rapsodo is a device I bought. I should have brought it in here to show you, but it's on the thumbnail image of this video. It just sits on a tripod. It's a little stick with a wide camera, a high resolution, high frame rate camera for impact. It'll show you your impact of the club and the club head on the ball. And then it also has radar to determine where the golf ball is actually going to go. It wasn't cheap, right? You can look up how much they cost and where to get one. There's also products made by Garmin and very other respected brands. It all started with TrackMan, but I don't think many of us are, unless you're Jason Kelsey, you're not putting a $25,000 TrackMan in your backyard. This was not anywhere near that, but it wasn't cheap. But man, this Rapsodo is certainly paying off. For me, it's a launch monitor. It tells me everything about my swing. I can have it out in my backyard and do 100 swings a day from my backyard almost as if I were at the range. It helps confirm and diagnose everything I'm feeling in swings. It's not going to tell me how to fix it, but it's at least going to help me identify what the problems are. If nothing else, beyond the metrics and everything it can tell you, and side carry has been a big one for me. I'm like 10 to 15 to 20 yard side carry guy sometime. It shows me the instant metrics of that. And it helps me just understand what the ball is doing and what my swing looks like after every single swing. If you had to put up a camera and start and stop and do that all on your own, it would take forever to hit 100 balls. So the instant replays and the metrics are all great. I can also, because this gets uploaded into a cloud, I can save and share videos and information so I can show other people my swing. My buddies, I can text them. They can give me a little instant feedback and advice. And eventually, I know you're thinking, well, hey, show me the Rapsodo. Show a swing or two. Maybe I'll put one in here on this video. Maybe I will, but maybe I won't edit one in later because I'm not ready to share my swing on here yet. Because I know I'm going to get a ton of comments and criticism on my mechanics, my form, my posture, all the above. Because there are some really good golfers out there. I'm just not ready to hear all that yet. And trust me, I'm a person who's okay with feedback and comments and criticism. I get it all the time. It's been that way for decades. But it's easy for experts to see my beginner faults, and at this point, I'm a little bit sensitive about that. So you will see at some point, you will probably see way too many of my golf swings. Probably do whole videos on, hey, look at my first 250-yard carry. It's like, okay, great. Nobody cares. There's other people who can do that. So I'm just at this point not ready to share a bunch, and maybe I've already edited in one clip. Maybe I'll surprise you with something. But I feel protective about the swing for some reason. I don't know why. It's so intimidating because there's so much to learn. Not just your swing, right? But the lingo of golf. Trying to explain something to a friend. Like, what did you say? What does that mean? Gameplay, right? The etiquette, the rules of gameplay, like being on a golf course for the first time. If you'd never been on a baseball field for the first time, there are some things you wouldn't know about the sport of baseball and rules and tradition and etiquette. The equipment of golf. Club flex, there's so many intricacies here that I'm just figuring out and trying to understand, am I way off here or am I on target? Am I on par for this? And strategies. Which club should I use where? How far away am I from the hole? Putting, driving, short game, all that stuff. It's not just like bowling where there's a strike ball and a spare ball and the lanes are, bowling's a lot more simplified. Bowling is still complex, more complex than you probably know, but golf is like multitudes more difficult than bowling. Frustration and a little anxiety at the range. So when I go out to the driving range as a beginner, I walk past other people who are just striping them, like launching rockets. And I have to remember as I walk by that, of course, I'm not going to hit them that far on that straight. Some of these people are lifetime golfers. They've been doing this 20, 30, maybe 40 years, and I'm still getting started. So perspective is important. I don't want to compare my shots, my drives, my distance, or the ping sound that I'm making versus what it sounds like when they hit the golf ball. And also, like, if I shank a few, then I'm starting to look around like, did anybody see this? And hopefully nobody saw that when I absolutely shanked one to the right. Like, it went 100 yards and went 50 yards. To the right. That has happened. It's almost like embarrassing, right? But I guess we all started somewhere, and I would hope that most people could look at me and say, well, this person clearly is just getting started, and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're not truly an idiot, even though I might be too. I also can't forget here, I think this might be the last one, what my ultimate goal actually is. I'm not getting into golf because I'm trying to be great at it. I just want to play confidently with friends. Let's go play around. Let's go enjoy a nice day, enjoy being outside, nice weather, some scenery, going to a place we normally wouldn't, seeing some things, have a great conversation, have a couple beverages on the cart along the way. I'll tell you what, I'm also getting into golf because for so many years I've watched it on TV and I've understood it, and, watching the final couple of holes of a tournament, and if it comes down to every swing and every stroke, it's like, yeah, that's pretty fun. But now I can appreciate golf a whole lot more. And certainly you look at the professionals do it and you're like, well, I'll never be at that level, but I see what they're doing. And also even watching the repetition of different swings and different approaches and all that stuff, it helps me appreciate watching golf on TV more now than I ever could before. So that's a benefit here. And you know what? The golf experience so far, even though I'm not like anywhere close to where I want to be, like playing confidently with friends, I'm already feeling like, with other dads in the neighborhood, other people who are into golf, it's fun stuff to talk about, right? Like it's because most are generally in a similar spot or understand the same things. It's a good conversation piece, like any other sport. But this one, you're obviously a little bit more invested in. There's the Rapsodo right there, just in case you haven't seen that. Great system, great ecosystem. Again, expensive, but for where I'm at and trying to just get a swing together, highly recommend it. Look at yours truly, about to rip one. That probably went about 200 carry, maybe 225 total yards. I'm working on it. I know a lot of you are laughing like, I can't believe this guy's never been golfing before. So I'm trying to get there. You could follow my journey. I'll probably make some more videos along the way. Let me know in the comments section if you think I should do that, or how should I approach my journey? Do you want to hear more about this? Do you want to hear more specifics? Should I keep it separate? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, thumbs up down there greatly helps me, this video, this channel. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you back here next time around.